Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Awakener podcast. It's good to be with you today. This is the best podcast in the history of the world for a number of reasons. Obviously, it's not the giant production budget or the wonderful studio that I have, or, I'm recording this from my phone and I got a little kind of mic here. It's nothing to do with that, really. It has to do with the information. It's kind of the information that I've been saying to you from the very beginning. To understand fully what is happening in this world, you need to go to TheAwakener.ca. That's one word, TheAwakener.ca. This is my website where you can understand everything that is happening through obviously 1945 all the way down to where we are today. There is an imperialistic battle, ladies and gentlemen, for control of this world. I'm going to recap kind of some world history and obviously the Manhattan Project, which is the atomic bombs that were created by the U.S. industrial complex. Now, the US industrial complex came about and they paid a bunch of money and did a bunch of research to get the atomic bombs before the Nazis and before the Soviets. Now, what would have happened if the atomic bomb was gotten by either of those before us? Well, this world would it would be in the toilet, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously Europe would have been completely gone. The USA would have been completely isolated and starved, and they would have been bombed with atomic bombs and obviously nuclear warheads and things like that. And everybody would be living in kind of a fascist totalitarian state today. So the USA has this hardlined kind of agenda underneath it, which is to save the Western world. And the events that happened back then were to obviously protect the Western world and to ensure that humanity survived. Don't kid yourself, ladies and gentlemen. The events happening today are exactly the same. The Western world is completely embedded by communists. How is this possible? Well, it happened because George Soros is a KGB collaborator. He started his programs back in the Eastern Soviet bloc, and this expanded obviously to the Western world, and they've taken control of virtually everything. And when Obama was put in office by George Soros, he proceeded to overthrow Canada, Europe, start a bunch of refugee crisis, and helped Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, and their imperialistic endeavors to basically destroy us. This is the strategic undo of Barack Obama's presidency, and it's beautiful to behold. Um, what's going to happen? What's next, ladies and gentlemen? Well, today we're going to dive in a little bit more to South America, and we're going to talk about Maduro, and we're going to go over some predictions about what I think is going to happen. Will Maduro leave without a fight? I do think that's a possibility. Um, well, first of all, let's recap. Why is Trump down there? Is he down there for drugs? No, absolutely not. He's down there because of the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is kind of the center they need to send warships over to a giant war with China and Russia. And if there was no Panama Canal, if it was completely seized up, we'd have major problems, ladies and gentlemen. All these ships would have to go around the Horn of Africa or they have to go all around South America. It's just not feasible. So before a war is going to happen, before people are going to understand that Jeffrey Epstein was working for the Russians, before people are going to understand that George Soros was a KGB conglomerator, and before people are going to understand that Obama was a Soviet plant, things have to be put into place before all this is unfolded before the general population. Um, Maduro's in a world of hurt right now, and he has half his country that absolutely hates him. He obviously has maybe the biggest military in South America, could be even bigger than Mexico's, maybe not. And it's going to be really interesting to see what this guy does. Um, Now, he's facing obviously the USA that's coming down there, and he has really no options to choose from. I do not believe that Russia and China are going to do anything right now. Now, Russia and China are focusing on other things as we speak. Obviously, EMP weapons in North Korea. They're helping Iran with their nuclear program as well. And this is something where they're just not ready. They're not ready because nothing went to plan according to what they wanted to accomplish. Now, when Barack Obama was in office, he was setting up obviously Hillary's presidency to be this kind of giant smash and grab job where they were going to pull this off. And they would have had a variety of tools available to them to accomplish this. And those things just haven't worked out, ladies and gentlemen. So here Maduro is, and he's facing an imperialistic USA that's come in there, and he might have no choice, ladies and gentlemen. He might have to remove himself from this fight. Where is he going to go? Well, he might end up in Russia with Snowden. He might go to the UAE. Who knows where he's going to go? And realistically, people have been talking about this. What on earth is Trump doing? And we told you on this podcast right from the beginning, he was probably going to go down to Venezuela. He was probably going to remove Maduro from office. Don't be surprised if he goes, obviously, into Mexico. Don't be surprised if he goes for Cuba. Don't be surprised if he goes for the Panama Canal. And don't be surprised if he goes for Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Why is this happening? One more time. This is happening because the USA is completely embedded. The Western world is completely embedded with communists. Half of us now believe the ideology of our enemies, and we're going down. And this is just a giant plan to save the Western world. Now, this is kind of the new gig, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of the way the new podcasts are going to be in the future. It's going to be much better. Number one, you're going to have access to more content because I'm at home. I can do this really quickly, and I can put up shows whenever kind of I get an inspiration to do so. Before, I'd have to travel all the way across the city. I'd have to, sit down with somebody, have to record the show, and then it would take a few days to be uploaded. And by then, the information is not really relevant. So it's much easier for me to do this. It obviously is probably not going to be as professional, but you'll get more information. And I do apologize, but like all our podcasts are being taken down in audio version only across iTunes. The censorship is really getting to us. But you always have me, ladies and gentlemen. You always have me. You always have my podcast. And you always have my website, TheAwakener.ca. TheAwakener.ca is the best resource for everything that is happening. And go there frequently. You'll never lose out on any information. Um, It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in Venezuela. Will things happen as early as this weekend? We're going to see. But the world is going down this awesome path. A lot of people in the Western world do not understand that there's a plan to take out America, number one. Okay, if you can see that, that's great. Now, what happens if America is taken out? What happens if America becomes much like these communist nations? It means that our enemies are able to remake the entire world against our will. And this is realistically what they were planning to do. Number one, there's a war on America. And number two, after they get America, there's a war on the rest of the Western world, which means that nations like South Korea, Japan, Israel, Europe, everything is under threat. And this is why the events are unfolding today. This is the giant operation to undo Barack Obama's presidency. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have more shows for you soon.